it, hey?
What?
I said beautiful day for it, hey?
I can't hear you.
Oh God, no. Hey there, I'm Kwackajack, and today we're going to be talking about helmets, specifically full face, open face, and the modular kind. Now, the purpose of this video is not to tell you which one to use. I'm simply just going to be laying out the positives and negatives of each kind and letting you make your own decision. Now, as we go through the comparison, I want you to keep an overarching question in mind, and that is, what is more important to you? Safety and protection, or comfort and exposure? Hopefully this comparison will be helpful to beginners or for anyone that's looking to see which one might be better for them. I'm going to try and stay neutral the whole way through and only give you my personal opinion at the end as to not sway your decision. First up, we have the full face helmet. Now, these are the most popular kind that you see out on the road, and they usually consist of a one-piece shell, visor that flips up and down, and a strap at the bottom. It's also got vents throughout. Some have tinted visors inside and some have multiple. Now, let's discuss the pros of the full face helmet. There are a lot of positives about these guys, but the biggest one and the reason that they're the most popular is because they are the safest option. By covering the entire head, all parts are protected during an incident, and studies have shown that they are 45% safer than an open face helmet. It turns out that the chin bar area is actually one of the primary impact zones during an accident, with 34.5% of crashes involving it, and a little over 10% involve the face shield area. However, it isn't only during a crash where this type of helmet provides more protection. It's also protection from noise, sun, wind, rain, cold, bugs, and stones. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff flying about out there on the roads, and pretty much the only thing stopping it from flying straight into your face is that visor. If you're flying down the road at 70 miles per hour and find a bug or a beetle heading straight towards your face, you're going to be thankful that this visor is made from shatterproof materials. As I mentioned, it also protects you from the elements as well, like when it's windy, raining, or snowing. You won't get windburn or as much sunburn on your face, and when it's cold outside, your head will be kept warm and toasty inside that protective shell. Flying stones and other debris are pretty common out there on the roads, and a full face helmet will keep you protected from them. While protection is the main pro for this kind of helmet, it does provide other benefits too. Some come with tinted visors as a secondary flip down, and these can be really helpful in early morning or afternoon sun where it can be hard to even look at the road. You don't realize how handy one of these is until you're out there and realize that you need one. It means that you don't need to wear sunglasses under your helmet. Also, if you do wear glasses regularly, this type of helmet may be better for you as they'll fit snugly in there and they won't be blown about by wind. Other benefits include insulation from wind, rain, and noise, because you know what, going for a long ride and having gusts blowing against your face constantly can get tiring. You are also more anonymous wearing this kind of helmet, and that might be important for some people who don't want to be instantly recognized out on the road. Perhaps you're famous, or perhaps maybe you just want to be able to do mad wheelies down the road without people knowing who you are. I'm not judging. Now, the last positive I'm going to mention, and admittedly this might not be as big of a deal for some people as it is for me, but with a full face helmet, it is much easier to mount a camera. If you're planning to record your rides, perhaps you've got a GoPro, or even if you've got a comms unit, mounting it to a full face helmet is definitely the best way to go. I'm personally not a fan of riding footage that has come from the top of a helmet or from the side of a helmet. Really, the best place to record your ride from is the chin, as it's closest to what you'll actually see while riding on the bike. Well, you can't really do that unless you've got a full face helmet. So for anyone who's looking to record their rides, that's the way to go. Perhaps using the new GoPro Hero 9 that I'm giving away on Instagram. Alright, now to the negatives of this kind of helmet. What gives this helmet its protection can also be a hindrance. First of all, it can be harder to hear things going on around you or people trying to communicate with you. So if you pull up at a set of lights next to another rider, you might want to just nod instead of trying to talk. Some people may feel a sense of isolation while wearing this kind of helmet, and I have heard instances of people feeling claustrophobic. For people looking to go out and enjoy the pure open freedom of the road, it may subdue that sensation. Another con is that your field of view is limited from within this kind of helmet. I'll show you what I mean. The fact is that your peripheral vision isn't as good in this kind of helmet, and you will be probably taking your eyes off the road to check your surroundings a bit more. That can be dangerous, as can be having blind spots, and you should always double check your surroundings before pulling out or merging while wearing anything that limits your peripheral vision. Being closed in and isolated means that in hot weather it can get very hot and steamy in there. Alternatively, in cold climates, your warm breath can cause fogging, and every biker knows the challenge of trying to breathe to avoid fogging up your visor. The fact that you're closed in with this type of helmet comes with other disadvantages too. If you're out on a ride and get an itchy nose, something in your eye, or heaven forbid, have to sneeze, it can be a pretty terrible outcome. Not having direct access to your face straight away is a con, and a sneeze can be pretty terrible and gross. In fact, these types of helmets can just be more annoying in general. Things like going and fueling up at a petrol station, you'll usually have to take them off before you're even allowed to do it. If you have longer hair, you'll want to make sure it's really tied back because you can get tufts in front of your face while riding, and it's just not fun. So that's the positives and negatives of the full face helmet. Now let's have a look at the pros and cons of the open face. These are also a very popular type of helmet, and you usually see an older demographic wearing them, as well as cruiser riders. There are surprisingly a lot of pros about this type of helmet, but I want you to resort back to that overarching question we spoke about at the start. The first and most obvious advantage is that they are lighter. Over the long period of a ride, you may get less tired wearing this kind of helmet than a full face because it is just so much lighter. Another big argument is that they are objectively a lot freer, and I think that's why a lot of people really like them. Your face is exposed to the elements, and I think it amplifies the sense of freedom that people feel when they're out on a ride. The fact that you're not behind a visor, the wind is pushing against you, and your vision isn't restricted really does put you into the moment a lot more than a full-face helmet. You'll be able to hear more noises or people talking, experience more smells, and have the freedom to touch your face if you need to. You'll have the full open field of view, and you'll be able to use your peripherals to notice any dangers and just generally take in more of the environment. With your face being open, you'll be able to express yourself more openly to other people on the road and be able to talk, smile, poke your tongue out, or perhaps mouth some unsavory words to the person who just pulled out in front of you. You could even smoke while riding if you're into that. Open face helmets are a lot cooler in hot climates, and you won't have to deal with that fogging issue that you would with a full face. Often at service stations, you won't have to take it off to refuel your bike, and that's a plus for some people too. Now, this may be personal opinion, but open face helmets can also make you feel more suave while out on the road as well. With your face exposed, glasses on, riding around town, it can make you feel like more of a badass, even though you probably look just like a regular one. How something makes you feel is important, and I think for a lot of people, wearing an open face helmet will make them feel more in the moment and perhaps enjoy their ride more. So the real pro for this kind of helmet is that it can enhance your enjoyableness of the ride, and really make you feel in the moment and connected to the road. Now let's look at the cons. The biggest disadvantage with an open face helmet is the lack of protection. As we spoke about earlier, the chin area of the helmet is involved in over 1/3 of all incidents. So if you're wearing an open face and get into an accident, it doesn't bode well. The importance of safety on a motorcycle can't be understated. And in a year that's already been terrible for rider casualties, it's more important than ever. So yeah, the biggest downfall to this type of helmet is the total lack of safety in the chin and face area. And that's not only during a crash, you're also not protected while out riding. Wind fatigue, bugs hitting you, elements like rain and cold, sunburn, stones. Without face protection, you will be at the mercy of nature, and a rogue bug or stone hitting you in the face can really hurt. I've heard of people even getting split lips from getting hit by bugs, and if you get one in the eye, it's not good. If you're going to be using an open face helmet, protective glasses are a must. You'll want to look for a pair of shatterproof and UV protective glasses, because regular ones, if they get hit by a stone, can shatter, and while you're out riding, that is not ideal. So do yourself a favor and invest in a good pair if you decide to wear this type of helmet. When it rains, it can be harder to see and breathe. You'll be more exposed to the sun, so you'll want to wear sunscreen or risk getting burned, and the constant wind can be tiring. Wind fatigue is real, and on long journeys can definitely take its toll. Really, what makes this helmet so appealing to use, being exposed to nature, is also its biggest con. You have a lack of protection, both in an accident and while riding. Now we come to the third kind of helmet, the modular kind. Modular helmets are kind of a mix between the full face and the open face, with a hinge around halfway where you can usually flip up the bottom. Theoretically, it provides both the pros from the full face and open face into one unit, where you can enjoy the protection of the visor, but also enjoy the freedom if you so choose by flipping it up and out of the way. And yes, that is one of the pros of this type of helmet. You can either be protected by having it down or flip it up and enjoy the freedom of the open road. In some of them, you can actually remove the whole part of the bottom too and just have the top. That means you'll enjoy the freedom of an open face helmet where you'll be able to talk to people, express yourself, and perhaps not have to take the whole unit off when you go to a servo. And while you're riding, you will also be protected from all of the elements. Really, the main pro of this kind of helmet is the flexibility that it allows you to have. The cons though is that due to these having a lot more moving parts and hinges, they are a lot heavier and cumbersome to use. They can get tiring to wear after a while because they're so heavy, and the hinges have also been known to fail. In fact, when my dad first got back into riding a motorcycle, he first got a modular helmet, and he found it very tiring and cumbersome to use, and the hinge actually ended up breaking. He ended up getting a whole new helmet, and now he does wear an open face. I think he only actually had it for about a month or two before that happened. Studies show that these types of units aren't actually as safe as people think they are, as the hinge compromises the integrity of the shell and they don't perform as well during crash tests as full face. Also, I know I was going to try and stay non-biased, but man, they just kind of look dorky, don't they? My riding instructor actually had one when I was doing my license, and he praised the flexibility of it. But the way it looked to me just turned me off them completely. But again, that's personal opinion. Speaking of, now that we've gone through the positives and negatives of all the kinds of helmets, I'm going to weigh in with my personal thoughts and feelings. I myself mainly use a full face helmet. Because it's safer, I can mount a camera to the front and have microphones inside to record my rides. It just works better for me. It also protects me from bugs and wind while I ride as well. But I really do enjoy wearing an open face helmet. It really adds to the freedom I feel when I ride, and the wind, smells, and general open feeling gives you that sense of adventure. I think I'm going to be picking up a new open face helmet for myself for times when I'm not going out and, attacking the twisties or filming. But for more spirited rides or for filming, I'd pick the full face every time. And that pretty much sums it up. If I only had to choose one type of helmet to use forever, it would be a full face helmet. It's just safer and I can do more with it. I also really don't like the look of the modular helmets. They remind me of a midlife crisis on a three-wheeler. There are a lot of different styles out there, and some full face helmets are close to being open and some open are close to being full face. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to what's more important to you, safety or the feeling of freedom. Also, just a few more quick little tips. No matter what kind of helmet you're going to go for, make sure that it fits correctly. Full face helmets are only safer if they fit properly. So when you're getting one, make sure you go to the shop and get someone to help you out and fit it properly to your head. Leave it on for 10 minutes or so to see how it molds to you, and then get someone to try and move it and try and take it off to see how it feels. Another thing, try your best to avoid dropping your helmet. I know it sounds simple, but it can cause small cracks in the lining that may compromise the safety of it during an accident. If it's dropped a few times onto the road or concrete, even just off the bike, it might be time to get a new one. I'm giving you permission. So there you have it. Let me know what type you prefer down in the comments below. Let's have a chat about it, and while you're down there, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also find me over on Instagram at @Kwackajack_. We're also doing a giveaway over there right now where I'm giving away a brand new GoPro Hero 9 bundle, so you can start recording your own rides. Thanks again for watching, guys. Until next time. See ya.
I love it. And I've had it. Well, it's a lot older than it looks.
Do you want to hear my idea of hell? Bro. Oh, they stopped. 45% safer than an open face equivalent. Oh. Perhaps, through the comparison, I want you to keep a lot more anonymous with this kind of helmet. And you know, people won't instantly recognize you. And that's a different one. Wait, get off. Oh, go away. Get a tuft in front of your eye while riding. Oh, shut. Fuck me sideways. There are surprisingly a lot of pros about this type of helmet. G'day. More in the moment and cool. Oh, shut up. Leave it on for 10 minutes or so to see how it molds to you, and then get someone to try and yank it off. That sounds gross. Speaking of, now that we've gone through the positives and... Jesus. But for more spirited rides... oh my God. Fucking thing. Fucking driving me insane, my God. But for more spirited rides or for filming, and that pretty much sums it up. If I only had to choose one type of helmet to use forever, oh, for fuck's sake.